can either chase the girl or have the girl chase you.
Yeah.
Breaking rapport is a part of this game as well. What Neil Strauss used to do, he would get into a spirited debate with the woman and then say, let's agree to disagree. 10 minutes later, they'd be making out.
The New York Times called my next guest one of the most admired men in the world of seduction.
He is the subject of the New York Times bestseller, The Game.
The greatest pickup artist of all time.
We have a legend in the house. We're here with Mystery.
Break down breaking the ice.
It's creating the illusion of instant rapport with someone you have not yet met. Because the last thing I want to do is make a woman feel threatened by my approach.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is smile on the open. The smile goes a long way.
What do I need to know about Kino escalation?
Touch often, touch early.
And so how do I go about attracting a girl?
One of my favorite questions to ask.
Mystery, walk me through some of the early days with like the field reports. Before that stuff blew up, can you just walk me through what that was like and what was going on?
Well, a field report is where you go out, party, either with friends or alone, just go out into what we call the field. The field is when you leave your house and you're getting social, you're going into a social venue. We call that going in field.
Okay.
So online, we would write field reports of our outings, whether they were good, bad, or ugly. We would write field reports. And there were people who found field reports particularly interesting because people were explaining how their night went, what they did that night,
Right.
what ideas and emotions went through their minds as they were gaming the night away, right? So there's an education in reading field reports. It's valuable.
So I'm wondering, like, before there's you and before there's Neil Strauss and like all these mainstream, before this went mainstream, like, who were you learning from? How did you learn the game?
Good question. Very thoughtful. I learned it the hard way. I learned it myself. I went out and I did what I'd call social experiments.
Mm.
I would approach groups of people and I would try unique openers, for instance, and unique gambits or game pieces that fill in the timeline from meeting a woman to beginning a sexual relationship. It's what we call courtship. It's the
Right.
courtship timeline. And I would fill my timeline with things that wouldn't work.
So it's
They
trial-
wouldn't work. I was miscalibrated. I was sort of antisocial in my teenage years. I would say I was antisocial in my teenage years, but magic was something that allowed me to express myself, even though I had no other way of expressing my personality other than by hiding behind the magic. I had taken the magic out of my boot camps and seminars and out of infield for about 3 years at one point when I was living in LA. And I was still able to attract groups of people and particularly beautiful women with my personality, thankfully. But it
Mm.
was only because the magic that I had practiced allowed me to express my personality so I could then switch out to storytelling. So if you don't know magic, that's okay. It's good to learn a couple pieces for good social health,
Yeah.
but really it's about storytelling, being smooth with the delivery of the stories that you tell people. And if you tell one story smoothly, they'll say, or one interesting story, and you say it smoothly, they'll say that that was interesting. But if you smoothly say several interesting stories in a row, they'll say you're interesting, and they'll recognize that you're just a smooth operator, right? It has to derive from experience and practice. Ablaze, any thoughts on that?
No, those are all good thoughts. I don't have much to add to that other than I've seen you using your magic into full effect, and at times it looks like a cheat code. It's a great way to start the conversation instead of walking up and saying, hey guys, right? Just and leaving it at that, or hey guys and running an opinion opener. You can walk up and vanish a ring or vanish someone's cigarette. It's powerful. But I've seen you remove the magic, and I've seen you just as effective in field without it. So, um, great training wheels, and not just training wheels, it's the bicycle itself in a way.
When I started learning about the game, quote unquote, there's so many different there's so much going on. Like there's so much really to learn. So if someone's a beginner and they're like just starting out and they want to be better with girls and better at picking up girls, where's the first area that they should just go and try to master?
Okay, if I had only a short time and people weren't going to invest now in watching this entire podcast, the best advice that I could give in the short time that I'd have is this:
Mhm.
seek a mentor. Seek a mentor. Someone before you has come along and mastered that which you wish to master.
Yeah.
So seek a mentor. Or in this case, seek two. Ablaze and I, we're mentors in the art and science and magic of cold approach pickup.
Right.
Cold, appro- cold approach pickup, by the way, uh, the word cold in the in the phrase cold approach
Yeah.
sometimes scares people away. It just means that the people that you're going to interact with don't know you yet.
Right.
So you're going in cold. But that doesn't mean you're going in alone. You could go in with a wingman, for instance. Though I do recommend going in alone, working the set for 3 minutes, getting into what we call a lock in position where you're leaned back and in the set with the group.
Mm.
And that is the indicator for your wingman to then come in, knowing that he can't wreck the set and lose it for you because you've already worked it for 3 minutes, broken the ice, and gotten into that lock in position. So you can, in that 3 minutes that you have, big up the friend that you're with, and he comes back with a couple drinks from the bar and hands you one. You've got this interesting social proof, and you social proofed him by talking about him within 3 minutes where you met this new group. So they already know a little bit about him and you can big him up. It's called an accomplishment introduction. And Ablaze and I are good wingmen together. We do that for each other.
So break down breaking the ice because I know
Oh,
there's
forgive me on this. I was using your phrase. I actually don't really use that phrase that much, but I understand what it means. It means getting socially accepted by the group that you've approached,
yes.
right? So there is a way to do that. It's creating the illusion of instant rapport with someone you have not yet met.
Mm.
I'm sure you've done that before. You know, even in with colleagues in a work situation, a colleague introduces you to another colleague you do not yet know, and you shake his hand and you get into convo with him, and it's as if you know each other.
Right.
We just sort of do away with the formality of having to show our hands empty, that we do not have a weapon, that we are not dangerous. But one thing that a pickup artist can do to demonstrate that he's not dangerous, because the last thing I want to do is make a woman and her group feel threatened by my approach. So
Yeah.
what I'll do is smile on the open. Big smile, right? It goes a long way, guys. Anyone here listening in on this podcast should know that a smile goes a long way. In fact, if you have a video of you facing the camera, a straight to camera selfie,
Yeah.
and you're not smiling on the first frame, people don't even want to click on it. But if you're smiling, here we have a first frame, smiling mystery, right? People are more likely to click on it. So let's smile on the open. It does not, you do not lose your masculine energy. You do not lose your power
Yeah.
by smiling on the open. What it does is it conveys right on the open that you are non threatening and in a playful state. Nothing can wreck this day.
Right.
A statement opener is even better than saying, "Can I get your opinion on something, ladies?" Right?
Yeah.
Just state that you're in a good mood. I'm celebrating today. I'm here with friends. I'll introduce you in a little bit. And then stack forward to the next interesting gambit to keep the conversation alive.
Oh boys, you look like you have to say something or no?
No, I'm just nodding my head in agreement with everything Mystery's saying here. You know, I've been
Yeah.
listening to him speak this wisdom now for over 10 years since I've known him, and I knew him before I even met him because I watched his VH1 show in the mid 2000s. I saw him on Conan, and smiling on the open is excellent advice. A lot of guys trying to act too hard, trying to act too tough. They come in looking alpha, be in a good mood, bring the vibration of everybody up, you know.
Yeah.
Very, very seldom do we want to come in scowling and frowning and serious, and it's those one-off events. We shouldn't train for those one-off events. Let's train for success, and success means putting a smile on your face. So
You look successful when you do it. It's a dance club. It's not a sit and question life club.
I wish
Mystery.
it was, but that comes later. I do like to sit and question life, but not in the club.
Facts. Mystery. I think I'm sure you've read books by Robert Greene.
I have,
And you've probably read The Art of Seduction, right?
I have, no
Okay.
doubt.
So I was listening to Robert Greene speak yesterday, and he mentioned what he thinks has been the greatest seducer ever, based on pure numbers. And he mentioned the name Errol Flynn. I think this guy was an actor, and he seduced
Yes.
around like 3,000 women by the age of 50. So Robert Greene was running these numbers like, how is that even possible? And he was trying to do research to figure out like what made this guy such a good seducer with picking up women. And he saw an interview from one of the girls that was picked up by him, and she described his presence as like extremely relaxing. And she's like, it almost felt like every time I was around him, it's like I drank 2 martinis and I was like drunk in his presence because the comfort and the relaxation he gave me was out of this world. It do you try to use that same method with comfort relaxation? And if so, like how do you evoke that?
I haven't met Errol Flynn. It's before my time.
Yeah.
But that said, I agree totally with the comfort building. We definitely have to build comfort. In fact, in my structure of pickup, I break down the comfort stage into 3 phases: the beginning, middle, and ending of comfort. And I even break those 3 stages by location. Sure, you have to pick up the woman in her group. Usually, women of beauty aren't alone, they're in groups. So you have to meet her that way. But when you have a chance to isolate, that is just to sit with her peer group nearby, you're in isolation with her. You then move off into comfort after you've done the attraction stage.
Mm.
So when you're in comfort with her the first time, we call that C1, the beginning of the comfort stage. And you want a little bit of comfort before you bounce her out of the venue to go to the second venue to grab, say, a bite to eat and really truly build comfort.
Yeah.
And then you will bounce them from there back to your living room or to hers, usually to yours, and you build more comfort there. So comfort is extremely important. I've broken this down into 3 main objectives.
Yeah.
C1, the beginning of comfort rather, is all about trust. Trust enough to bounce from one venue to the next with you. Hey, party's coming with us. You're more than welcome to tag along. And they say sure, and they do, right? Trust is established in C1. Then you bounce them to the next venue, say a bite to get a bite to eat,
Yeah.
where you then build connection. Connection, I believe, is the center of the entire structure of pickup.
Really?
C2 is to build a connection. The pickup itself is just so that you can get a day 2 and build connection. Or that day 2 may be just bouncing her that night and getting a connection with her by handling the logistics of having her friends be busy or not be present. And one on one, you get to know the woman that you're interested in, right? Then you bounce back to the living room. And again, all 3 locations you have to go through all 3 locations, generally speaking,
Yeah.
to get to C3, where you're in the living room and the objective is intimacy.
Right.
A lot of people make the mistake of trying to get intimate with a woman too soon. It belongs in C3, not in A1, which is the first
Attraction.
phase of attraction. A lot of guys are trying to seduce on the open. They're trying to, if I hate to say this word out loud, but a lot of guys are trying to make a single girl, not her group, a single girl horny. Guys aren't good at it. At least I'm not good at it. I'm not good at making a girl horny who I haven't met yet, who I haven't established trust, comfort, connection with. I have no intimacy uh, indicators of interest
Yeah.
on the open, clearly. So what I've done is I've simply broken down courtship into a structure, and that
Okay.
structure has a beginning, middle, and ending. The beginning is attraction, mutual attraction. The middle is comfort building,
Yeah.
and the ending is mutual seduction. Now, if you have comfort with a woman and she's attracted to you, odds are she'll seduce you.
Right.
And here's what I mean by this. There are two narrative arcs, let's say just two, not three. There are two narrative arcs to choose from in pickup. These are overarching general umbrella style choices you can make. You can either chase the girl or have the girl chase you.
Right.
Which one's better in your opinion, Anthony?
Have the girl chase me.
Then why haven't you been practicing that? I'm
Like,
sure you've been chasing girls
oh, 100%.
and they say no. You
Yeah.
get rejection. You get indicators of disinterest because you have given indicators of interest too early and compromised her comfort. So what I'm saying here is there are mistakes that a lot of men are making that would be fully resolved if they just played the solid game of attracting her first, then showing that you are growing in attraction for her, then moving into a comfort building location, what we call a move,
Hmm.
so that you can sit down with her and build some trust. Then you can invite her to go to the second venue where you can build connection with her, hopefully one on one. If
Yeah.
not, if it's a two set, two people, you can never split a two set. So you have to bring them both together. And that's fine too, because having her friend with you preserves her comfort.
Right.
When she's ready to be in isolation with you, she'll say so. The phases in this courtship structure from meet to sex
Yeah.
are her phases. They're not my phases. When I open her, I'm in A1 and she's being opened. She's in A1 too,
Yeah. Yeah.
A1 as well, rather,
Can we
and
talk
so
about
on throughout the
one?
phases.
Can we talk about
Yeah,
like
let's do
how?
it to A1. I think that's
Yeah.
important for a lot of guys who are starting out in the game to get good at because you could be great at comfort building, but you'll never get a chance to be on a date with a girl to do that if you don't get good at pickup
Right.
first.
Right.
So we need to learn how to pick them up. And the very critical moment that every man has to deal with is opening the set.
And so, how do I go about attracting a girl, making a girl attracted to me?
Well, let's talk first about opening the set.
Okay.
We have to open the set. She doesn't have to be attracted to me in order for me to be engaging,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
You're not attracted to your male colleagues necessarily, but you could have conversations with them. Well, why can't you have indirect openers for people who you don't intend on having sex with, right?
Yeah.
They're called indirect openers. So instead of saying, "Hey, where you from?" which is showing too much interest in someone you don't even know,
Uh,
why not just say, "Nothing can wreck this day"? My friends and I, we conducted a project, and now that it's over, we are celebrating like the end of the movie Ocean's 11. Nothing can wreck this day. I'm very grateful. That's called a statement opener. And it initiates a conversation, allows them a few seconds to see that you are tapped in, able to speak with no ums, ahs, pregnant pauses, slanderous mannerisms,
yeah.
swearing. You just state that you're in a good mood and why. And that's breaking the barrier of the open. Then you can stack openers to keep like a comedian stacks jokes, to
Hmm.
keep the conversation flowing until they're ready to start investing in you.
So is
Make
it wrong
sense?
to ask a girl a question from the start?
It's not wrong. No, no. We have opinion openers as well. It engages them. But what we do basically is what we call false opinion openers. I'm not looking to get her real opinion. I don't want her to invest 10 minutes in answering a question I've asked and investing in me on the open when she hasn't attracted me yet. Her beauty is not enough to attract me. For me, the frames that I set are beauty is common. You look around in any public gathering, in any event that you go to, like a rooftop patio bar, and you'll see there's beauty everywhere. I'm
Mm.
beautiful, you're beautiful, he's beautiful, she's beautiful, everyone's beautiful. What more do you have than your looks? What do you got going for you? And those are the frames that I like to set to get them to invest in me. But it is a question.
So so that's a qualifying question, right? You're trying to get them to qualify to you. Can you actually I'm very interested in that. So qualifying questions, can you break down why that's so important and typical ones that you have that you say?
Sounds good. Well, we're off now into the third phase, qualifying. In
Mm.
the first phase, we simply open and we use a few openers. They're short stories, that's all they are, usually with a point to the story, as there should be a point to all stories. Some guys don't even do that. But okay, you have points to your stories. You stitch two or three openers together. They're short, so you can keep the conversation alive. If the
Yeah.
first opener doesn't captivate them, at least it can stimulate them to listen to the next opener that you stack to. But let's now move forward to A2, the second phase.
Mm.
This is where I demonstrate higher value and also demonstrate that I'm in a good mood and therefore successful. It conveys success in the delivery of how I speak. But let's move forward to what you're interested in, the third phase, A3, qualifying. Some of the qualifiers that I use are they're not about me trying to see if she and I are sexually compatible. That's it's too soon to care.
Okay.
I need her to qualify herself as a person to me, and I want to treat her as an equal. That's
Yeah.
how I grew up. I treat women as equals. And they're very intelligent women out there. As beautiful as they are on the outside, they're beautiful on the inside too. So
Right.
I just presume that women are smarter than me. I presume everybody is smarter than me when I meet them, right? Until they show otherwise,
Yeah.
right? So one of my favorite questions to ask is this. If you were to audition for America's Got Talent in, say, 2 weeks' time, and you just had to do it, what would you do? Would
Hmm.
you sing? Would you dance? Would you do comedy? You got to do something to impress Simon Cowell. What would you do? I would do magic. What
Yeah.
would you do? That's my qualifier question, the first one that I usually get to.
A
And
lot better than "So do you live around here? Do you
right.
come
Well,
here often?" Those aren't qualifiers. A general rule of thumb is if it's a question that popped into your head automatically, it's probably already it's being asked by other guys as well. So it's not only the question itself that elicits information, but the quality of the questions themselves that you're asking are things that women take note of. We're looking to ask interesting, entertaining, stimulating questions, not boring, common, heard it before, this guy's hitting on me or hitting on me.
Yeah.
What's better is I'm practicing my broken pickup lines. Do you live around here often? And they laugh because it's a combination of do you come here often and do you live around here? Two things that guys commonly will say. It's bad
Do you
pickup.
do you think but like the question about if you're trying to impress Simon Cowell, what would you do? Why is that in A3? How does that make a girl attracted to you?
Well, no, no. In A3, she's trying to make herself attractive to me.
Right.
Remember, the narrative arc is that I'm the prize. It's just a frame that I'm setting. We're all the prize on this celestial sphere.
Mm.
However, I'm framing that I'm the prize. I'm qualifying her, and I'm asking her if there's something impressive about her that makes her friends gravitate to her. Why would I gravitate to someone I'm not attracted to?
I
The
got
8-3 phase is the art of her hitting on me, of her showing interest, of her investing in me, right? So I
yeah.
want to ask good questions to bring out the best in others.
Okay.
Another question to give you more context is, if you could be anything in the whole wide world with no chance of failure, what would you want to be? And don't say princess, right?
Yeah. Okay. And I think Ablaze, you gave me another one last time. It was like, what's your theme song? Or something like
What
that.
song defines your life? Do you have a
Yes.
theme song?
Do you guys have like a story that comes to mind when you opened a set, just like you two wingmanning each other? There's like just a good moment, like brought together, something you're very proud of. Does one come to mind?
I'm going to respectfully leave it for Blaze to answer this question. Blaze, can you think of any particular set that you were a part of?
Well, my proudest success is my fiance. You know, that's number one. If I had to put my fiance aside and I had to put my pickup cap back on and reminisce on my days with Mystery, there have been many occasions where we have facilitated interactions for and with one another, many memorable ones that come to mind. But we had an interesting thing go down when we were in Belgrade, Serbia together, where we saw a girl, maybe 15 years old, being chased by a group of guys. And at first, I thought it was just kids being kids, but something told me to look over my shoulder down this alleyway. And this girl was pinned up against the wall and being slapped across the face by these young boys, particularly one boy covered head to toe in tattoos. He couldn't have been a day over 17 or 18 years old, tattoos all over his face and everything. You know, Mystery and I just instinctively turned and started walking in their direction. I started puffing my chest up. I started yelling at these guys and getting in their face and being the tough older dude. Hey, what are you doing over here? And one of the guys says, "Oh, don't worry, it's his sister." And I'm like, I don't care if it's his sister. You don't put your hands on a woman that way.
Yeah.
And here I am being Mr. Tough Guy, and all of a sudden, their face go white, like they've just seen a ghost. And I turn, and Mystery is holding a magic wand, and he is pointing at the group like this. He's a wand-carrying wizard. He actually has a Harry Potter-looking wooden wand in his hand, and they are genuinely frightened. He turns sideways and he vanishes the wand in thin air, out of thin air. I told you he's a world-class illusionist. He vanishes this wand and they all scatter. Even the girl that we were rescuing, she got this frightened look on her face and she took off. We ended up finding out these were local gypsy kids. I don't know if that's the proper term. Forgive me. Are they considered Roma? Maybe Roma is the proper term. Anyway, local kids, and they likely believe in magic. They thought that he was casting a spell on them and they better leave this girl alone. So magic is real. That story that I just told you turned into an opener that I used on the boot camp that weekend and subsequent boot camps after that. So I can open a conversation with that story. I can tell that story in A2 when I'm demonstrating value. I can tell that story as an accomplishment intro. You know, I can
Yeah.
tell the story and say, would you like to meet the wand carrying wizard? And then I can backward merge the set to mystery. So there are many, many different things that we've had happen to us in field,
Yeah.
specific moments that happen. But even more of interest to me is when something interesting happens, we take note of it and it becomes a part of our Rolodex and it facilitates future interactions as well.
What do you mean Rolodex? Like
A Rolodex is a you
Repertoire. Repertoire is the right word, I think.
you young boys don't know what a Rolodex is. A Rolodex is this like cylinder shaped thing where you could put phone numbers, physically write phone numbers and flip through them like this. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Holy cow. Well, you're out here. I mean, pickups out here
I
saving.
never had a Rolodex. That's maybe even before my time, but a Rolodex is a
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a fire story. Pickup out here saving lives. If we were to go on another topic about girls, and I think this really resonates with guys my age right now. But it's like when you ask a girl what they want in a guy, they're like, oh, like I just want a nice guy. I want someone who's gonna give me flowers and make me feel good and just be nice and respectful. But at the same time, like, you've all heard the term, like, nice guys finish last. So, what do you think about that? And what do you think girls truthfully want?
I don't ask those questions and bring up, if she doesn't like you, she'll tell you, well, I like blonde guys. I like them short because I'm tall. And
Yeah.
they'll say the opposite of what you are, right? But if they like you, they'll say, well, I like tall guys with long hair.
Yeah.
So their answers will change depending on how they feel about you and how much they want to invest in you. So I wouldn't even ask questions of that nature.
Oh,
Besides, if I say, what are you looking for in a man? That's showing too much interest in her,
yeah.
as if I have to now qualify myself to her. I don't even play that game. I play the opposite game. She's going to qualify herself to me, right? Because I have already demonstrated higher value in A2, triggered triggered her attraction. So then we move on to A3 where I qualify her and I give her indicators of interest for
Yeah.
things she said, not just for her anatomy. Then we move off into comfort. C1, I move the set. I'm showing enough interest to move the set and give her a chance to get to know me. And she gives me a chance for me to get to know her. These phases, imagine getting good at these phases. In A1, you open. In A2, you DHV, demonstrate higher value. I'm going to call it DHV for now for short. In A3, you qualify. And in C1, you build trust. Imagine getting good at those phases. How? By having something to say for each of them. That's where material comes into play. So we've talked about structure,
Yeah.
but there's material that we need to say to fill in the structure. We'll need openers, we'll need DHV stories, we'll need some qualifier questions, and we'll need some comfort gambits or game pieces. Things, all of them are gambits, game pieces. They're all gambits, but there's opener gambits, DHV gambits, qualifier gambits, comfort building gambits. Imagine getting good at your gambits. This is gambit centered thinking.
Hmm.
I'm a proponent of using gambits rather than going what they call freestyle. If you go freestyle, there's no science in it. You could say something unique for the first time and it may work, but then when you try a second time, that relationship doesn't stick and you have to move forward to a second set. You then say something different. It's always 50-50 whether it's going to work or not. There's no science involved, right?
Okay.
But the art is to get good at your gambits. Get good at the material that you use to meet the objectives of those first four phases. That's
Yeah.
called pickup. That's the pickup stage. Then you'll get some dates so that you can have some day twos, which is called mid game. And if you're good at mid game, you can get to end game. The woman will seduce you if she feels comfortable with you and attracted to you. She feels you are attracted to her for legitimized reasons
Hmm.
rather than just because of her looks.
What does a girl seducing me look like? Like, how do I know that it's happening?
You'll get you'll get indicators of interest.
You'll know.
IOIs.
You'll
You'll
know.
know. Women show interest in a man she's attracted to. So the first point is to attract a woman. Then you can build comfort with her. Attract her first, certainly. After you have demonstrated some of your personality, like anyone watching this video right now will have seen our three personalities so far and can make a general assessment of the type of person we're going to be around,
Mm.
right? Important. So pickup artists who are good at what they do take their time. A pickup is not 3 minutes long. It's generally 25 to 40 minutes long, if not 2 hours by having an instant date and bouncing the set or the girl in that set to another venue. So there's a game plan here.
Yeah.
Getting good at pickup means getting good at opening, getting good at triggering her attraction, triggering her IOIs, and then asking questions that allow her to demonstrate higher value to you, and then you can give IOIs for having her DHV you. Then you can move off into comfort by sitting down together, which is the dream, sitting down with your woman of choice and getting to know each other and maybe having some kino escalation take place. Kissing is communication. Kissing is not the end goal. Kissing is just a shared activity. So if it doesn't happen in C1 because she's not ready, don't wreck the set by trying to kiss her and
Yeah.
making it a gamble. Kiss her in C2, kiss her on your day 2. And if she's not ready to be kissed yet, don't kiss her. Kiss her in C3 when you're in your living room, when you're in privacy. Maybe that's what was lacking. It's not up to the man to choose when she's ready. It's up to her to choose when she's ready. When she shows enough indicators of interest, she'll start doing things like touching you, touching her hair, laughing at your dumb dad jokes. If I start running some dad jokes on a woman and she laughs at them, I know it's on because she's laughing at everything I do. The
Yeah.
best pickup artists in the world, by the way, have a shared commonality. They all have a laugh track in their pickups. We're literally collecting gambits of jokes, of stories with comedic points to them, and stacking them all the way to the bedroom. We're going from meeting her, laughing with her, all the way to the bedroom. Hopefully, the laughter stops then.
Yeah.
It doesn't with Ablaze. This guy over here.
Okay, so that's
Any
very
thoughts on this, Ablaze?
It reminds me of when I was younger and a buddy told me that when a woman is ready to be kissed, she'll give me the look and I'll just know. That's what he said. He said, when the girl is ready to be kissed, she'll give you the look and you'll just know she's ready to be kissed. This was pretty maddening advice because he left it cryptic. I wanted to put him in a headlock and be like, what are you talking about? Tell me more. But this advice taught me to play solid game. It taught me to go out, flirt with a woman indirectly, and look for signs of interest that she's ready to be kissed. If I didn't see this look, then I would keep running my game. I would keep conversing with her. I would keep flirting. This cycle would repeat, flirting, 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 looking for this elusive, mysterious look that my buddy spoke of. And then I remember one day I saw it. She was looking at my eyes. She was looking at my lips. I felt this charge, this magnetism built up, and I went, there it is. There's the look, right? So my advice to guys, this very informal, is don't kiss her because you're ready to kiss her. Don't kiss her as soon as you think she's ready to be kissed either. Let that escalation window open all the way. Sometimes we even want to let the window hover open for a minute or so and make her wonder if the escalation window is going to close. When that window opens all the way, we can seamlessly pass through it and kiss her with ease. And it's very important to end the kiss at the right time. Don't make her end the kiss because it gets too intense. Okay, easy, tiger, that's enough. When you feel that moment peaking, that's when you break the kiss away and say, all right, that's enough of that. What are you doing to me, woman? Your seductive ways over here.
Yeah.
You break the kiss first. You preserve comfort that way. And when you preserve her comfort that way, by ending the kiss before she gets uncomfortable, her comfort zone, it moves. The yardsticks are moved down, the measuring stick is moved down the field now.
What do I need to know about kino escalation?
That is a loaded question, brother. That's a loaded question. What do you have to know about kino escalation?
I guess
I'm
first
going
of
to
all,
give
what
you
is it?
I'll give you, if I may, the a couple points for kino escalation. Kino goes long. We can talk about that for the entire podcast. But the first one is touch often, touch early. Touch early, touch often. Either way. Be a touchy person with your guy friends. Hey, this is my good friend, right? And you can hug your guy friend as you introduce him. Put your arm around his back and push him gently into the group as you introduce him to the group.
Yeah.
And now I'm just this way. I'm just a socially touchy person. Touch early, touch often, and that way, when you hold her hand, she won't be creeped out by it because you haven't touched her for 20 minutes. And then all of a sudden, there's this big move taking place. Instead, just touch often. Social kino is just the back of the fingers on her shoulder or touching her knee for a moment if she's sitting next to you, and getting her attention as you run a story,
Okay.
an interesting story to show interest in her, right? That you're willing to invest in her. That's social kino.
Okay.
When it goes to sexual kino, that generally isn't going to happen in the club. There's no need for that, right? Sure, you can kiss a girl in the club. It's a shared activity, something to do, especially after you do some flinch tests. You know, I may lean in and say, "I want to smell you. Come here," to see if she flinches. And if
Mm,
she allows me to smell her, I can say, "Ooh, you smell so good," or "You smell so familiar." And if she's being hesitant, I could say, "You smell like poo, shampoo,"
oh, okay.
right? "You smell like poo, shampoo." And now it's just a joke. And then I roll off. So it preserves her comfort. It's all about preserving her comfort, you know,
Sure.
throughout it. But instead of putting your hand on her knee, why don't you take her hand? That's the flinch test to see if she allows you to take her hand and put it on your knee and say, "That's all you get."
Okay.
Now you could be the first to push her hand off of you when you ask her, "Can you cook?" She says no, and you say, "Okay, well, you're losing me," and you push her hand off you. It's just a joke. It's comedic, but she gets the feeling that you're pushing her away. You're not saying, "Oh, you can't cook? Oh, well, I can," and trying to bridge the gap and make you closer. If they can cook, you can say, "What's your signature dish?" If you were to impress me with your signature dish,
I got you.
what would it be? And that gets her to invest more. Ooh, what are the ingredients of such a thing?
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So it's essentially like you're just trying to keep creating environments so that the girl keeps coming back and chasing you. Like you want to give a little bit, test where she's at. Okay, if she's not about it, let me pull back and see what happens and keep going from there. But the touching part makes sense because I've seen some of your videos. I was going to ask you, you're a big hugger. Like you're always hugging. Is that part of the reason why you do to just come across like I'm just a touchy person?
Women are huggers.
Okay.
So I'm a hugger too. Did I hug a girl yesterday? Yes, I hugged a girl. I went out yesterday and I hugged a girl. Actually, she initiated it. She just came and hugged me. She came and hugged me, and I let her, and I hugged her. I was the first to roll off.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll say, "All right, that's all you get." I even say that to my kids. I've got two children, 11 and 18. And it's a running joke in our family now where we hug each other, and my son says, "All right, that's all you get. Get off me." And he
That's
pushes me off, right?
that's
It's cute. And if it works for an 11-year-old, it can work for me.
Ablaze, are you a big hugger or what's your go-to?
I'm a hugger as well. I had some thoughts though. Not only do we want to be aware of touching the woman, but we want to be aware of the moments leading up to it. So, I have a cognitive model similar to the M3 model. I call my model the vortex. And in the vortex, there are four key elements that we want to build up to what I call equilibrium. Element three is a physical bond, but it doesn't just deal with physically bonding with the woman, as in touching her. It also deals with spatial awareness and how comfortable she feels in our physical presence. So don't just think about touching her in the act of touching itself. Think of your body language and how you maneuver around her in space as a prelude to touching her. If you're too close to her when you're talking to her and you're really in her face and she feels threatened by your erratic hand movements, that is a prelude to what it's going to be like if you put your hands on her in other ways. But on the other hand, if you're at a safe distance from her, not too far away, you're not the squeamish guy that's over here, but you have a calibrated measure between you and her, and you're artfully moving your hands around, and you're aware of your body angle as you talk to her. You lean into her, you lean back out. Um, this is the transition to actually physically touching her. So when you think about kino escalation, don't think about the act of escalating itself. Think of the moments leading up to it as well.
Okay. Speaking about that, in a club, a loud environment, should I ever really lean into a girl or should I always stay back like this and have her come to me?
Well, you've just said never and always.
Okay.
It's not a never or always, it's a when.
Mm.
You're going to touch her at some point. You're going to lean in at some point and show interest. But what I like to do is stimulate the set first, have normal body language that you'd have in a corporate environment, right? When you move her into a sit down, you can then do a flinch test. I put her hand on your knee, see if it stays. If it stays, great, right? And then you're in rapport with her. If it doesn't stay, well, you've got more work to do, son,
Okay.
right? But at least you know where you're at. We're very dynamic and critically aware of her comfort levels.
How would I
You
go
have
moving a girl to a different location?
very simple. There's several ways to do it, but it's very simple, and it's something you can do tonight if you go out.
Okay.
You simply say, "Come on, let's go make some friends," and you roll off the set and have them join you to meet the next group of people you're about to meet. Or you could backwards merge by saying, "Hey, let me introduce you to some friends of mine," whether those friends came with you or they were the last set you had opened. They get to meet people through you. Or you could say, "I have a thought to share about you. Here, come join me for a sec." And you move her into isolation, lean up against the wall. So she's facing you and the wall, right? Rather than her
Right.
against the wall with you with your hand up on the wall, leaning in and showing all this interest on her and making her feel creeped out. And then she starts showing uh, you know, her eyes don't look into yours, but they look beyond you to see the rest of the room. No,
Oh, that's
no, I like to be the one being gamed. So I'll lean up against the wall in isolation and have her behave as if she's pursuing me. That's the gift that I'm giving a woman. I'm giving her the gift of the pursuit. I'm giving her the gift of the chase.
right.
I'm structuring opportunities to be pursued. I'm opening up to her. I'm allowing her a chance to get me.
Do you know what's something that I want you guys' advice and opinion on is, first of all, mystery. I started wearing rings because of you, because of the
All
turnkey,
right.
because of you, and I started ripping this stuff out. Usually, I could just go with one ring, but so in the past, I've done multiple. But what I will say is, it works. Like I'll be out, and girls will say, "Oh, is this an aura ring?" An aura ring is like a little fitness ring, or they'll look at this bracelet right here. You can't see it, but they always go like, "Oh, what is that?" So if you were to wear a ring like that and you get that question, or you're wearing some bracelet and they say that, how would you go about answering it to be playful and to pick them up?
Can we try? Would you mind, Anthony, if we tried a little experiment? We've seen you. You're dressed like this. It's daytime where you are.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It's nighttime where I am. I'm in Helsinki. Where are you?
I'm in New York.
In New York City right now. It's still light out.
Yes.
So what you're doing is you're demonstrating the type of clothing that you'd wear, looking prim and proper. Could you kindly take your collar out of your yeah, take it out so it's on the outside better. And now open up a button. Open up one button. Subtlety, right?
Kind of fire.
Now you're peacocking. You want to peacock even more? Pop the collar up. It annoys people. We
This?
love it. Pop the collar up.
You want this
Don't you
up?
look like now you look like you're at the party.
Okay.
The tie's off now and you're at the even one line there it is. Look at the difference. That's peacocking,
Okay.
right? Adding a ring if she asks you about it, that's an indicator of interest. What I recommend people do is wear at least one interesting item, maybe an interesting necklace, especially if your collar's open, you can have a necklace, right? But make it a unique necklace rather than buying it at a mall, where everyone has the same type of necklace.
Yeah.
Have a story to go along with the item that you're wearing. If you wear one interesting item and a woman comes up and says, "Ooh, where'd you get that?" or "What is that?" and she touches it, she's showing interest, right? So you're leading her to show interest in this simple behavior of peacocking. Make sense?
Yeah.
You
I,
can put it down now if you'd like. It's
you know
up
what?
to
I
you.
kind, I
It looks
kind of like
good.
it, but
I
holy
kind of
shit.
like it too, dude. It looks
I,
great, man.
I may start rolling out like this. Holy shit. I dropped the ball. Like there was this, I'll just tell you a story. The beautiful girl. We were at a table, and she looks at the ring. She asks what it is. She grabs this, she touches it, And I was just like, I mean, it's a Whoop, and I showed her the app, but, like, in the back of my head, I knew, like, I needed something else. So your go-to in that situation would be to craft some sort of story around this.
Every prop that you wear, every item that you carry should have a story that goes with it.
Okay.
Certainly. They're props. I wear glasses. I wear glasses.
Yeah,
Not glasses to see. I have LASIK surgery, but I wear cool glasses. In this case, these are Bluetooth sunglasses with a clear visor on tonight. In the daytime, I have a mirrored visor. Very cool glasses for me because there's tech built into them, very miniature tech.
yeah,
I love them. But what I can also do is say to a person, which is better? As my opener, I could say, hey guys, quick question, which is better? Glasses on, or I take them off. I can't right now because they're Bluetooth. And I take them off and I say, or glasses off. Which one's better? And I say, wait for it. Glasses on. I put it on again and I make some faces, like I'm a model. And
yeah.
then I say, glasses off. Which one's better? And I get a quick consensus from the group and they say, glasses off. And I'll say, oh, that's good to know. And I'll put them back on. Or if they say, I like your glasses on, I'll say, that's good to know. And I'll take them off and put them in my pocket.
Okay.
Right. I'll do the opposite, which is funny. It gets
Yeah,
a laugh.
yeah,
So it's an opener that I can use, but I can only use it if I bring the prop. I have to have glasses with me, whether they're sunglasses or I've got some wooden ones. They actually have a wood frame, almost Harry Potter like wood frame.
yeah.
And I bring them out with me, knowing that if I'm really scared to approach, even the best of them have approach anxiety, especially when it's important, when it's critical. I at least have my glasses with me. So if I'm too scared to say anything, I can run the glasses on, glasses off opener, which was invented by a gentleman named 26. His nickname is 26. He lost his virginity at 26, hence the nickname. Real
Right.
name Barry, old friend of mine from back in the day in Toronto.
Yeah.
And he would do the glasses on, glasses off gambit and it would work so good that I had to say to him, can I use that? Can I teach that? And he agreed I could use it and teach it. So
Wow.
that's what I'm doing right now is I use it. I'll use it tonight. I'm going out tonight with some friends and I can also teach it. So what one man can do, another can do. If you run the glasses on, glasses off opener, you're going to build instant rapport. There's a
Yeah.
joke at the end showing that you're playfully ribbing them by doing the opposite to what they recommend. And your first opener is now under your belt. Now you stack two or three more quick openers to show you're in a good mood and that you're fun, you're playful, right? And you're underway. Then you're off into the next phase. You've completed opening.
You know what's funny? That same girl, and this was before I started, like, because I watched a ton of your infield stuff. I saw because you're always around beautiful women. What you do back in the day is you'd ask a girl and they'd say, "I'm a model," and you'd grab their hand and say, "Oh, like a hand model." And every
Right.
single they loved that stuff. But this other girl said the same thing. She's like, "Oh, I'm a model." And I probably said some dumb shit. But like that would it's just like it's golden right there, the hand model thing. But it always comes back to the point, like just be playful, playful, playful. And so it's just
Humor,
Yeah, because your
humor goes a
instinct
long way.
because
Go ahead.
your instinct is to go, "Oh, how did you become a model?" Right? Boring, you know? "Oh, like a hand model? That's funny. That's gonna have a different impact."
yeah, it just, it's genius stuff, but the
Your
tough part
Whoop
is some of it.
bracelet too. I was
What
gonna
about it?
say your Whoop bracelet too. You could come up with a 2-minute routine about that. The Whoop app and the Whoop bracelet is a cool piece of technology. You
Right,
know, you could come with a 2 to 3-minute story about the Whoop bracelet. Teach her
and
something about it.
but so the thing about storytelling, Mister, you said is, like, you're always trying to demonstrate higher value, and it sounds like you've become a very good storyteller, but, like, if someone is trying to craft a story for this or in general, how should they go about doing that? Do you have
Well, why don't
advice?
we start by
What?
you
Oh,
telling
go
us
ahead.
about Go ahead, mister, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you do it one at a time. You don't become a good storyteller. You become good at telling a story.
Mhm.
And then you get good at telling another story. Then you get good at telling another story. Delivery gentlemen, is everything. It's everything. Delivery of your material is everything. Without material, you have nothing to deliver, so you need material. And material has different objectives, just like the phases. So you want to put the material in the right phase. Qualifying on the open isn't something you want to do unless she's already attracted to you, for instance. So it has to happen in phases. You got to fill the structure with some material, and you have to get good at delivery of the material. Those are the first keys to proficient pickup: structure, material, and delivery. There are more. There are more keys, but those are the top three.
And with the DHVs, like, how do you demonstrate high value for someone who's not familiar with this stuff?
Smooth delivery in your storytelling. You practice 5 gambits, 5 stories that have hopefully a comedic ending, so they'll
Okay.
think that you're humorous and therefore intelligent. Remember, these women are choosing men on their intelligence, not just their looks or status. It's on their intelligence. They're intelligence junkies. They're looking for an intelligent man, someone who can demonstrate that they're in fact smarter than the woman, so that they could rely on him for his resources, his intelligent resources. So being humorous not only makes her comfortable, but makes her know that you're a smarty.
There are
Intelligent.
demonstrations of higher value, and there are DHV stories. One she can see with her own eyes in the moment, right? A DHV story is where you're going to tell a story laced with DHVs. So your Whoop bracelet, for example, if you were to tell Mystery and I about the Whoop bracelet, give us a 30 to 60-second primer on it, you could then write that story down. You could practice it and rehearse it and refine it, and then you could field test it. You could use it in A2. You could open the conversation with a group, and then you could say, have you guys seen this before? And hold up your bracelet. This is a Whoop bracelet. Do you know about Whoop? And then before they have a chance to interject, go off into a 30 to 60-second tangent about how you're so excited about your bracelet and what a marvelous piece of technology it is. Right? When you do that, you are demonstrating higher value because you're teaching them something. This is the leader of men attraction switch. Mystery breaks attraction down into 5 key DHVs, leader of men being one of them. You're also demonstrating a willingness to emote because you're telling the story with enthusiasm. We could even stretch this out a little bit and say you're a successful risk taker because it's not an inexpensive bracelet. You bought a new piece of technology. You're on the cusp of innovation. We could even call this protector of loved ones because you're teaching something to other people. You're giving them knowledge. So you're actually demonstrating a lot more value than you think by coming up with just a simple story about your Whoop bracelet. And you're occupying real estate. You're actually taking up space in her mind. She's focused on you. She's intrigued. She's listening to you.
Right. Okay. Very cool.
Get her, get the group she's in stimulated with a story,
Yeah.
and then you can captivate them by saying, "Here, tap your friend on the shoulder. I've got a thought to share," and you get more people involved, and you captivate them. You can lean in now in A3. At the end of A2,
Yeah.
you're building captivation. You stimulate it first, and you're open. Then you captivate them and lean in and tell a story that has a point to it, and then you can lean back and laugh when the point has been made, right?
Yeah.
And so this is called body rocking, leaning in, telling a story, or telling a sound bite or sentence in a loud venue. You have to get close to be heard, but then you can give her a little comfort distance, right? And you want her chasing you anyway. So if she bridges the distance and has an idea she wants to share with you, and she then whispers it in your ear or yells it in your ear in a loud venue,
Yeah.
right? She's investing and showing interest in you. That's what we're looking for. So we use DHVs in order to entice her to give us IOIs. We DHV in A2, she IOIs in A2. That's what happens in A2. In A3, I ask her questions so she can DHV to me, and I can then IOI to her. They're mirror opposites. In A2, I attract her. In A3, she attracts me.
Okay.
She's not attracted, or rather, I'm not attracted to her on the open. I'm interested, but not attracted. I'm interested in interacting with the next group. I can now indirectly open by saying, hey guys, I'm making my rounds. Thought I'd come and say hi. That's all they're getting from me. They're not getting you're beautiful on the open. That's
Right.
called that's called a direct approach.
Yeah.
I'm doing a school of thought known as indirect opening. That's my school of thought, as is gambit centered thinking. This is my school of thought, being scientific, running gambits that work and stop running gambits that don't work.
I don't
Science.
I don't know if anybody's told you this before, but something I've noticed, especially after reading the book The Laws of Human Nature, it's like it's good to tap into for a man to tap into their feminine side, or for a woman to tap into the masculine side a little bit. And something I've noticed from you, from like watching your stuff, and as well as like Neil, from like hearing him speak before, it's like you guys both have a little touch of femininity with your approach and like talking. And I'm wondering, like, is that something that, because it's so effective, and I try to do the same thing. Is that something that was learned and you tried to do, or where does that come from?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's very unique.
Yeah.
I think this falls into inner game, and I don't really focus on inner game that much. I focus on outer game tactics, gambits to run to fill your timeline, very important. Things to say and when to say them, right? But if you're kind to children, she will sense that. So I'm a kind person
Yeah.
unless they throw an egg my way. An egg is a way, or what we call an indicator of disinterest, right? So I can handle a woman's shit tests, or what we call congruence tests, right? But I won't give shit if she doesn't give me shit, right?
So you
That's
won't
my
neg her,
metaphor.
she doesn't
The
neg
shit
you.
test. Well, if they're beautiful, I can presume they're going to be like other beautiful women, and they're going to shoot me down if they don't know who I am, because that's what they do all day long is they just shoot people down because they're being approached very incorrectly. Let's leave it at that. They're
Yeah.
incorrect opens, right?
I'll
Showing
say
interest on the open. Go ahead.
I'll say this too, Anthony. I think that there's a confusion in our scene of a guy that's emotional and a guy that is in touch with his emotions, right? So we learn to express ourselves and not shy away from our emotions. Willingness to emote is, again, one of the top 5 DHVs according to the M3 model. So when a man is being expressive and not holding back and not afraid to just this is who I am, it can sometimes maybe appear to be a little bit feminine to the untrained eye. But
Mm.
there's again a difference between being sensitive emotionally and being like overly sensitive. I've been told this my whole life too by women that I'm emotional, but not in a boohoo crybaby kind of way, like in a cool way. Like I'm in touch with my emotions and I'm not afraid to express my emotions. So I think maybe that's where the confusion comes in, where the stereotypical alpha male shows no emotions. He's just this machine, this robot, and all he does is think with his one side of his brain. And
Yeah.
maybe that's a little bit of what you're picking up on there.
Yeah, authenticity is very important in this game, right? Authenticity. So a woman, if you, for instance, rant for 3 minutes to her group of friends, and you go off on a rant, a Russell Brand style rant, they
Yeah.
get a good assessment of your personality from just a 3 minute opinionated discussion, right?
Right.
You can even have a differing opinion. What Neil Strauss used to do, if I may speak on his behalf, he would open a set, and within a few minutes, get into a spirited debate with a woman, and then say, let's agree to disagree.
Mm.
and walk away. 10 minutes later, they'd be making out. So obviously it was flirting.
Yeah.
Breaking rapport is a part of this game as well. If she's breaking rapport, if she has a differing opinion, you can say, let's agree to disagree. And now it doesn't look like you're hitting on them because you're giving her an indicator of disinterest.
Right.
Maybe she's earned it because she gave you an indicator of disinterest by saying, I don't agree with you. Right?
Yeah. Okay. Respect. I mean, I know we're getting to end this podcast. And I know you're gonna go out tonight, so I don't want to keep you too much longer. But I think seriously, like some of the work that you guys do, I think is very, very underrated. Like, and I don't think you understand the impact that you have on people's lives. Like this skill to be able to go and talk to women is such a need in young men, but it's so transferable to every single aspect of life. I think one quote I remember from the game is like, religion is pickup, politics is pickup, life is pickup, everything is pickup. And these types of skills, it's changed my life. I know it's going to change people's lives that are listening to this right now, but I want to give the floor and open it to you guys. Is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you think is important that you want to
I
bring
want to
up?
just throw a really quick reframe out there for you. So pickup artist is a term that was slapped onto the VH1 show for marketability, but Venusian artist more accurately captures what we teach. The martial arts, the arts of war, comes from Mars, god of war, Venus, art of love. The Venusian arts are the mirror opposite of the arts of war. And I like to think of myself as a Venusian artist, not a pickup artist. Uh, so I think that if guys hold that frame, that they're practicing the Venusian arts as opposed to pickup, they'll get a better sense of what we do. And as you said, it's life-changing stuff. It's hand in hand with the martial arts. It's a part of the yin and yang of life that, whether consciously or not, we're all practitioners of the arts of love.
Yeah.
You cannot become a master or claim you're a master at uh, a certain skill set, whether it's martial arts or Venusian arts, unless you can build another master. That's what makes you a master. Being able to master a subject and then, as a part of that mastery, master teaching others. And that's something that I believe I have in the many years I've been teaching this, as well as Ablaze. He's been in this for how many years, buddy?
Teaching for 16 years. I've been into it now for coming up on 20 years.
Wisdom,
Yeah.
wisdom, hard-earned wisdom can be shared, can be expressed, can be taught. And what one man can do, another can do. Just seek a mentor, or in this case, seek two, right? And learn the elegant art of the cold approach pickup. Now we are doing boot camps. My next one uh, is in Munich in a couple weeks, and Ablaze and I are doing a boot camp after that in Miami. Ablaze, would you like to tell him a little bit about Miami?
We have 3 different training options to choose from. There's a 2-day option, a 3-day option, and a 5-day option. This is the last weekend of September, September 25th through the 29th. You can go to askmystery.com/student-application to apply for Miami. We also have a live online workshop in the middle of October. These are affordable, low-priced, one-off workshops, or you can get all 3 workshops for a bundle discount. Mystery has books available on his website as well. I highly recommend reading Revelation. Revelation is his second book, and it is
Third book.
densely packed. Third book,
Third book.
apologies.
Yeah, the second was The Pickup Artist.
The Pickup Artist. Revelation is in the top 5 best books ever written on this topic. And if I may throw a quick plug in there for myself as well, The Vortex of Love, How to Get a Woman to Fall in Love with You, is hopefully a few months away from being released. I'm getting the cover design finalized. There's a few bumps in the road, Writing a book has been an insane challenge, but it's right there on the finish line. And if you're a fan of Mystery's teachings, you're going to love the Vortex because there's a lot of mystery-esque vibes in there. It was inspired by the M3 model. Aside from my parents and the women that have touched my life, nobody has had a bigger impact on my game than Mystery. I consider him my sensei, my teacher. So if you like mystery stuff, if you like revelation, you should check out the Vortex of Love as well. And we'd love to meet you guys in person. That's where the rubber really meets the road. Come train with us in Miami, fill out a student application, and anybody that mentions Anthony Gross in the promo code section of the application can get a discount on training with us as well.
If you guys can go and pick up girls in Miami, you could pick up girls anywhere. We hear the Miami girls they put on a little bit of a facade, but
What
yeah.
we do is we travel to places around the world that are target rich, shall we say,
Yeah.
where there are beautiful women. I'm in Helsinki. I just did a boot camp here, and it was stellar. I'll just leave it at that. It was stellar. Enjoyed myself. The students enjoyed themselves immensely, and we all had a chance to meet some particularly attractive girls.
Right.
You can practice on single sets, but I don't recommend it because women of beauty are found in groups usually,
Yeah.
right? 2/3 of all approach scenarios are the 3 set. So let's just strike the dragon head on and strike its heart and face, get humbled and face the fact that women are in groups and get good at opening groups of people. That's what we teach. How to open groups, how to attract women who are very beautiful, I shall say, and how to build an actual solid game relationship, like leading to a relationship. That's what we teach. Solid game pickup. We do it phase by phase. We fill in the structure with material. We get good at the delivery of that material, and we do enough sets so that we can practice our material on people who may not become our love interest, but we're practicing for a time in the future. Maybe it's only 6 weeks away from now, but you're going to meet your dream girl.
Yeah.
Are you ready to meet your dream girl? Or, as you said earlier, we can swear on this. Are you going to fuck up?
Believe it.
Let's protect ourselves from critically losing our dream girl set that's coming in 6 weeks. You got 6 weeks to prepare. Why don't you come train with us in Miami and learn what your dad never taught you? The elegant art of the cold approach pickup. That's where it's at. It's a life changer.
Bang. We will end it on that. Thank you guys so much. Mystery, Ablaze, you guys are the real deals. Again, like you guys have definitely changed my life. Confidence, ability to speak, communicate, which is irreplaceable skills. So, gross potential community, show them some love. Thank you guys very much.
Thank
Take care.
you.